This is Ask Todd on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. If you have an existing estate plan or are in the market for one, Todd Lutsky is here to answer your questions and help you plan for later life. Ask Todd is presented by Cushing & Dolan, serving Massachusetts and New England for more than 35 years, helping families with estate and tax planning, Medicaid planning, and probate law. Visit CushingDolan.com. Now, here's Todd Lutsky.
Todd Lutsky from Cushing & Dolan.
Slow down, buddy.
One speed only, Todd. Todd joins us now on the Financial Exchange for Ask Todd. As always, it's your opportunity to ask Todd your estate planning questions live on air right now. We got the phone lines open at 888-205-2263. That's the number to call to ask Todd your questions. It is 888-205-2263. And remember, we can usually get through 2 or 3 questions, so if you don't call early, well, you might not get a chance to ask Todd your questions. So get calling at 888-205-2263. Again, that is 888-205-2263. Mr. Lutsky, how are you doing today?
I am never better. You?
Not good.
No, you're never good. There's always something wrong.
I bought the world's worst thesaurus.
Worst thesaurus.
It's not just awful, it's awful. It's awful.
It's awful.
Todd, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of continuing a conversation from last week. We were talking last week about the use of life estates as part of an estate plan. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were pretty critical of them as a tool.
Yeah. Life estates are problematic.
Give me a comparison and a pros and cons of life estates versus irrevocable trusts for estate planning.
Okay, so this will be the abridged version, but let's see if we can make it. The crib notes. Remember crib notes?
I do.
Yeah, this is the crib notes version. If you want to protect your home, that's the goal of a life estate. So it's also the goal of an irrevocable trust. How do we protect our primary residence, if that's what we're talking about? So if I set up a life estate and I put the house in the hands of the children and I reserve the right to live there, what have I done? I have the right to live there, I have the right to collect rent, and I have the right to pay bills. That's about it. But the good news from that is not only do I at least have the right to live there, but if I die, the kids will get a step up in basis for capital gains tax purposes. And in 5 years, the house would be protected from the cost of nursing home care. So it's not altogether horrible. It's going to at least accomplish those things, which are good from a capital gains tax standpoint and a protection standpoint. So
sure.
I'm good. And I avoided probate. So that's good. But remember, folks, when we do this, we often do this and live a long time, right? We might be 65 when we set these things up and life changes, right? We want to, move. We want to downsize. We want to move to a nice warm climate, perhaps. What about selling? What have I given up? Well, a couple of things. One, I've put the house in the hands of the children. If I do it that way, that's the version I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I've now exposed the house to the kids' creditors. Granted, they might not be able to take it against me while I'm alive, but they're going to have to deal with it. What if they get divorced? What if there's a car accident, a financial problem? These kids now own that piece of the property, that future interest that you gave them. Okay, well, that's not good. It's not good for them. It's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. Okay, well, then what if I do want to sell it? What if I want to move? Well, now you need permission. You need to ask the kids, can I sell the house? Well, hopefully they both agree because you're going to need both people to sign, or if you have 3 kids, you need all 3 kids to sign. Okay, well, Todd, my kids are great. They're going to go ahead and sign for me. So we got past that hurdle. Well, now when you sell it, remember you have to calculate how the gain is allocated and how the proceeds are allocated. And depending on your age, a much larger portion is likely to go to the children and a smaller portion to you. Okay, so that's not great because now I got less money. And if I have less money, I probably don't have the money I need to buy another house. Oh, and even if I did have the money I needed to buy another house, that new house would be at risk of the nursing home all over again. Okay, but Now the kids have a portion of the gain. If they don't live there, they have to pay capital gains tax on all that money. So they don't get the exclusion that I get for living in my primary residence. So there's an adverse capital gains tax consequence. And then if they're nice enough to give me the money back, then they can pay a gift tax on top of the capital gains tax to give me the money back. Now I can take all my money and go buy a house. And then I have to start the 5-year clock all over again. I don't think I need to go on.
I'd prefer that you don't.
That's really bad.
Talking with Todd Lutsky from the law firm of Cushing & Dolan. If you've got questions for Todd, this is your chance to ask them live on air right now. 888-205-2263 is the number. Still room on the phone lines at 888-205-2263. And again, Todd can help to answer some of your big questions about estate planning. Let's take a quick break here. When we return, we're going to get to your questions with Todd. That phone number is 888-205-2263. One more time, it's 888-205-2263.
Ask Todd with Todd Lutsky every Wednesday at 10:30. Only here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. You're listening to Ask Todd with Todd Lutsky on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
Still got a bit of room on the phone lines for your estate planning questions at 888-205-2263. That number again is 888-205-2263 for your estate planning questions. Again, 888-205-2263. Let's go to Marie in Springfield. Marie, what is your question for Todd?
Yes, I have a trust that was written in 2013.
2013?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very hard to read. I get to about page 10 and you've lost me.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do a new trust. I'm wondering what is involved.
So let me ask you a couple of questions about the trust you have, because when I meet clients that have estate planning documents, in all fairness, I tell them up front, look, if I don't need to recreate the wheel and you don't need to spend any money, don't do it, right? There's no reason to do it if there's just for me to recreate the wheel. So just because they're hard to read, I get it. They're complicated, they're hard to read, and when I meet a client, I read it to them in English after I give it to them to read. So you might just need this reread to you in English by your estate planning attorney. But first of all, is it revocable?
No, yes, it is. It's a revocable trust.
Revocable. And how old are you?
I'm in my 90s.
Wow. God love you. That's awesome. So roughly how much are you worth, round numbers? Like more than the Massachusetts $2 million exemption or less?
Just a less. Mm-hmm. A little. Mm-hmm.
The only concern I would say then for what you do have is it's revocable, and is one of your concerns trying to protect any of these assets if in the event in the future you needed long-term care?
No.
All right. So that's not a concern. If protecting assets is not a concern, the revocable trust for someone your age, your net worth, worth less than the $2 million exemption, likely doesn't need to be redone. It's just my initial reaction. It puts your assets in there. You're probably the donor. You're probably the trustee. You're probably in control of the assets. All good. It'll avoid probate. I think the most important part for you to read it, rather than get into all the weeds back in page 25 or 30, look for the paragraph that says, upon the death of the donor. Okay? And just read that paragraph. Because again, if it's revocable, retitle your assets to the trust. You lose no control. You do everything you do during life today. No tax return. And if it says, upon the death of the donor, I don't know, equally to my kids or whoever you're leaving it to, as long as that paragraph is still doing what you want it to do, leave it to who you want to leave it to, there might be no reason to update your document. So I hope that helps. At least check that out first. If that's not what you want and you want to change it, then you need to either amend the trust or we can certainly do a new one at that juncture. Folks, that's just one thing. I'm glad she did the planning. Kudos to her. But a lot of people just put together a life estate and they throw their house in a life estate deed, give it to the kids or give it to a trust and then keep a life estate. Folks, you don't always know what you get. This calculating the consequences of a life estate guide tells you the 3 ways in which I would ever do a life estate. It tells you the 2 ways in which they're created. I always like to say the right way and the wrong way, but please learn about the ways they're created. If you also tells you all about the gift tax, the income tax consequences, the ability to sell, the creditor risks, it really tells you what you have and maybe what you don't have. So if you've got a life estate, this guide's for you because you can find out what it is and maybe how to get out of it. If you don't have one and you're thinking about getting one, then you can get the guide and learn whether you should actually have one. Folks, 866-848-5699 or legalexchangeshow.com. You can download it there. Again, 866-848-5699 or legalexchangeshow.com. And you can also go to our Instagram page, Cushing Dolan PC, for lots more information.
Todd, we got another one for you here. Let's go to Brad in Winchester. Brad, you're on with Todd Lutsky.
Hi, I own an investment property, and it has equity in it now. I've owned it for a long time, and I'm thinking of putting it into a trust so that I can avoid the 5-year look back. My question is, though, does that lock it up permanently? If I buy an investment property, if I buy a second home or something and retire, can I get the money out of it, or is it permanently stuck in it then?
Oh, no. So I assume you are you married, single?
No, single.
Single, no kids?
No.
Okay, so you might, so when you talk about, avoiding the 5-year look back period, to me, you're saying I want to protect it from the nursing home. My initial question would be, who are you protecting it for?
Relative.
Okay,
Sister.
so there is someone you need to. Okay, great. So as long as there's a family member that you need to protect this for, then yes, I think the irrevocable Medicaid trust is probably right for you. And one last question: how old are you?
64.
54, maybe a little early. 60 and over, I like to think about these irrevocable trusts, but there's no magic number. And so to answer your question, you can put a rental property in there for sure. You can continue, well, you need someone else to be trustee, so maybe your sister or someone other than you. You can continue to collect the rent like you do now. You continue to pay the bills like you do now, use your money. You're allowed to sell the house anytime you want to sell it. You could use the money to buy another house if you wanted to do that inside the trust, whether it's rental or a house you want to live in. All that flexibility remains available to you. You can also then, if it's turned into money and you want it all back, again, you're going to have to sit down with the family and figure out who you're making beneficiaries of this trust. But there is a way to take assets out to the beneficiaries who may or may not give it back to you, but be careful. So it's not locked up per se, but I think you have a lot of control over it. I think it's worth looking into and getting a little more in-depth discussion about it. A lot of flexibility for you.
Todd, I've got another one for you here. Let's go to Philip on the Cape. Philip, we only have a couple minutes, so you got to be quick, but what's your question?
Todd, you did a irrevocable trust for me 8 years ago, and now I'm concerned you talked about the Massachusetts $2 million exclusion.
Yes.
Well, everything has increased, so it's over that now. Is there anything I need to do going forward?
Great question. So are you, how old are you now?
78.
Are you married?
Yes.
Did we do one trust or two trusts?
Two trusts.
So you're in good shape because my trusts are flexible enough that I assume we put this house half in your trust and half in your wife's trust, correct?
Bingo, correct.
Good. And how much is the house worth?
Well, it's not just the house. There's several of them, and they're all rental. And
so how much is in each trust, a round number?
$5 million.
In each trust?
No. Well, say 2 in one and 1.5 in another.
So let's just call it, even if it's 2 and 2, don't worry about it, right? So the bottom line is that these trusts are designed to shelter $2 million each. So now you can actually shelter $4 million from Massachusetts estate tax with these trusts. So they are doing everything you want them to do. They are providing you income, avoiding probate, protecting from the nursing home, and still sheltering the maximum amount that we can shelter from estate taxes. Kudos to you if you get over the $4 million limit. Well, yeah, there's some tax for that. We can sit down and think if there's anything more you need to do for that. But right now, I think your trusts are doing wonderful, and you're sheltering the whole $4 million from estate taxes. So there you go.
Mr. Lutsky, thanks so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
This has been Ask Todd on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. Ask Todd with Todd Lutsky has been presented by Cushing & Dolan, serving Massachusetts and New England for more than 30 years, helping families with estate and tax planning, Medicaid planning, and probate law. Call 800-393-4001 or visit CushingDolan.com. The views expressed in this segment are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Armstrong Advisory does not provide any legal or tax advice. Please consult with your legal or tax advisor on such matters. Cushing & Armstrong do not endorse each other and are not affiliated.